Good morning. My name is Gerry, and I am at the Rythmia Life Advancement Center, and we're currently getting ready to open our doors for our soft opening November 1st, and it's a madhouse. There's all kinds of activity that's going on. The new improved Rythmia. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that uses multiple modalities to bring about a very interesting change in people. How interesting? Well, 951 out of every 1,000 people who come through the door report a life-changing miracle during their stay. And about 90% of them report 6 months later that this was the week that changed their life. Really, really, really big stuff. So this is a change that happens and stays. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about Rythmia and what we believe. And then I'm going to get into some stories that I mentioned something 2 weeks ago that has gotten a heavier than normal email response back to me that people want clarification on. I'm going to cover it in this one. So, what we believe at Rythmia, we believe that when you're conceived, your soul and you are together. And then something happens between conception and about 5 or 6 years old that you get afraid of something and you split from yourself, and then this longing for the other is the thing that causes all disease, all disorder, and all addictions. And the interesting part about it is you can try to fill this up with anything: money, sex, drugs, fame, children, sports, whatever, and it's never, ever, ever enough. You never placate it. Now, when you come here, you drink the medicine in an environment of love, you can merge back together, and then any damage that has been done to your heart gets healed, and all of the time that you've lost is given back to you. It's a crazy thing. So, the pool is done. The rooms are about 99% complete, and our renovation, the place is looking amazing. And this will be the new and improved Rythmia. It is going to be rocking. Our staff has gotten tighter. Our medicine team has gotten tighter because they've been drinking medicine throughout this, and just becoming stronger and stronger. And the new beautiful Rythmia is going to be better than ever before. So please book. I want to talk about a couple things, right? About some predictions. Early in the piece in March, we predicted a 17% infection rate and a death rate of 0.26 to 0.56%. Now, at that time, specialists and people in infectious disease and doctors were predicting a 10% death rate. So ours is much, 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 much closer to accurate. Now, in addition to that, we predicted the end of the virus by the end of October, the beginning of November, and we still do. If you look, the death numbers have rolled over. They have crossed. What does that mean? Early on, infections or deaths were about 10% of the infection rate, early on. And now it's about 1 out of 100 new infections. So if you see that, it's just tapering off into nothing. It's tapered and flipped. Do I still believe the virus is dangerous? Absolutely. Do I want it myself? No. Is it going to kill me? No, it's not. Nor is it going to kill 99 out of 100 people who get it. And what does that look like in the scale of population? It looks like about 2 out of 1,000. 2 out of 1,000. Is it real? Yes. Should you wear your mask if it makes someone else feel good? Yes. Do I believe that's what's happening? Yes. In addition to that, I predicted a few months ago that this is the start of the Roaring 20s. What do I mean by that? I mean, after somebody calls a death to the virus, there's going to be a period of economic expansion that we have not seen in 100 years. And I believe that. I really, really, really believe that. Talk about some lessons from the medicine. So what I talked about in the past was about how it takes a village. And that in itself confused people. When a lot of people have this happen and they leave Rythmia as a merged person, They believe that there is something else they have to do. And this is the thing that I want to tell you. After that happens, you have nothing to do. I want you to understand that. You have nothing to do other than be. Sometimes it's our nature, and it's a hard thing to break, of constantly people telling us we have to be something, do something, do something. And of course you have to continue with your vocation and do these things, but you can just be. You can just be. What do I mean by that? Well, last week I talked about ants and ant colonies, and they're one of my favorite things. And by the way, some of the ants here in Costa Rica live 15 years. So when you accidentally step on one, you could be really affecting a community. So I'm very, very mindful of where I go and what I step on. But if you ever study an ant colony and then ever took a helicopter flight over Manhattan, they look a lot alike, a real lot alike. So what is that about? What do I mean by that? Well, there are many, many, many different jobs within the colony. And there are many, many, many different jobs on Earth. And the job that you're doing is most likely the job you should be doing. Why don't you feel that? You don't feel that because if you pick that job out of an unmerged place, it doesn't feel authentic to you. Yet, by design, by some grand design, you're in that job. So there's something to it. So what I talk about people after the post-merger, what happens is this: we're constantly vibrating. And our post-merger vibration is different than our previous vibration. And this vibration hits all things. And when I say it hits all things, it hits that chair, it hits that window, it hits a beautiful Sylvia who's filming this, it hits Zin, it hits everything in my field. Now they have a choice. They can vibrate that back to me, or they can leave. They can't stay in a vibration that's not a conduit for them. So what does that mean? I vibrate to my job. If my job is right for me, it will vibrate back to me under the new merged me. If my relationship is right for me, it's going to go to the other person. It's going to vibrate back to me. So this constant change, and this is what I'm going to tell you, is in this, the whole thing about a progression of a business or of a community or of a country is to remove contra energy. And I always say that, and or a relationship is to remove contra energy. The higher form of that is to harness the contra energy. So instead of removing it, so the worst thing we can do is fight it. That creates a slowdown of self, business, relationship, all that. The second thing we can do is remove it, or make it conform. And the third thing we can do is harness it. All of the great events that happen in our life come from harnessing that contra energy, from recognizing it and harnessing it. What do I mean by that? So these are lessons from the medicine, right? What I mean by that is that it absolutely does take a village. It does. It takes all of these different pieces. What is the highest form of vibration? Is when the opposites appreciate and love each other. The best thing can happen. What do I mean by that? First, what do I mean by that? Secondly, how does it affect me? So what do I mean by that? So, ancient medicine and Western medicine, together, boom, highest vibration. Psychology and plant medicine, boom, winner. They seem completely opposite, yet when used together, it goes up. Progress happens. Capitalism and socialism, together, boom, highest vibration. Artists and engineers, boom. Salespeople and accounting people, boom. Now, if we dislike them and argue on the way, no way. But if the artist loves the engineer for what the engineer brings and for the product of his work, and the engineer loves the artist for the product of his work, then the whole thing levels up. It's constantly leveling up. So if I love my girlfriend for her femininity, and she loves me for my masculinity, not, hey, you should be more feminine and she should be more, not that. But if we love each other, we just harnessed our contra energy, and now our contra energy is pulling us, pulling us to the highest place, right? So this is kind of what's going on in the country. And if you take a look at the country, everything is in opposition. The moment that we turn the corner to love each other and see the product, the fruits of each other's labor, and to understand these things and really see it and really appreciate it. Not like, you know, there have been certain companies where you could be in a company and you know, the administrative people hate the creative people, the marketing people, and there's a war and da 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 da. That's not how this gets ahead. This makes the good. Now here's what's interesting. In the ant farm, there's that too, and yet the ant farm does get ahead. Now, in a society, we can never get ahead as quickly as we can get ahead if we harness and love the opposites, if we harness and love the contra energy. That's the key. So what does that mean? So this is so crazy, is that that's outside of us. What about in us? And this is what I want to talk about, people leaving Rythmia. When you're here, the only way that you can continue to evolve is you accept yourself as the finished product in that moment. Until you accept yourself as the finished product, you can't evolve. You can't. So as soon as you say, this is me, this is what I am, here's where I'm at today, and I'm going to love me today, nothing good can come. Because anything that we detest, anything that we don't like, anything that we set aside, anything that we're focused on without love, all of a sudden puts the brakes on the whole show on us internally. On us internally. And I gotta tell you, if you ever want to see sadness, look someone in the eye whose heart feels one way and mind feels the other way, and they're in conflict. If you ever want to see sadness, that either the heart wants things to be different than the mind knows they are, or the mind wants things to be different than what the heart knows are true. Anytime there's this conflict without love, true conflict, and one of them is at war with the other, that's what real sadness is. That's the sadness you don't have to have when you're post here. See, when you're post here, when you're merged, you harness that. Yeah, there are different parts of me, but I love the whole thing. And I'm going to have, today, I'm going to have a joyous day no matter what happens. I'm going to love myself as this is today. And that's where you can actually get joy and a different thing, a contentment, a real contentment. So what is that? What is this thing? When we're at odds with ourselves, we're also at odds with the universe, and we're also at odds with others. So you never see a really merged, cool person saying, you know, I hate this group of people. You don't see it. All of the people that are proffering hate are first proffering it in themselves. Their out is a picture of their in. And if that's the state of affairs, man, does this country need a healing. We need such a healing. Now, here's the craziest thing. I was speaking to a guy that I know from Las Vegas today, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guy. And we're talking about what's happening. And here's the thing that I can promise you, although it looks terrible, that from 40,000 feet, it's unfolding exactly as it should, and progress is being made. What I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, progress is being made. What I want you to check today, is it being made in you? Is it being made in you? Are you loving your opposition? Are you going to harness that? Are you going to sit there and say it's not true? Here's the other thing you can do. You can deny it. And when you deny the reality of what's going on in the moment, you lose. The moment doesn't lose. Reality doesn't lose. You lose. And so that's like denying what's going on in you in the moment. Not loving it, denying it. Completely different thing. Please don't deny what's going on in you. Please accept and love what's going on in you. And then all of a sudden, You start to look in these engineers that you got mad at, all of a sudden you're no longer mad at. You see the product of their work, the way the community needs their service, right? Not everybody who drinks medicine turns into a shaman. This really bothered me for a while because I thought, why am I not holier? I had this beautiful experience. This medicine changed my life, and all I could do was open up this place, but I couldn't be a shaman. I didn't have the heart, the love, or this particular type of intellect to be a shaman. And you know why? Because the universe needs me to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the universe needs you to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And some of you are parking cars, and some of you are driving taxi, and some of you are driving Uber, and some of you are doing this. And you know what? In this moment, if you can accept what you're doing and love it, you win. All of this, I should be, goes away. You merge, you accept what you're doing, and then what happens is this. The universe shows up with things. When we're in acceptance, we're vibrating at love, the universe shows up with things. The thing you've been looking for is miraculously found. The part of you that you fucking used to hate, that you're now loving, has been exchanged for something greater. The universe shows up with things, but it can't until you're there. It can't. It's really hard for the universe to operate and give you what you desire when you're mad at yourself or pretending to be someone else. And I have to tell you, for the longest time, I was mad that I didn't become a shaman. I was like, why can't I be a shaman? And you know the thing is, in the village, out of 150 people, usually there's one shaman, 100 to 150 people. So in the village, we all have our place. We all have our thing, and we all contribute equally to the village. So me doing my piece, and when I was, let's say, a business runner, I was doing my piece. And then when I was an employee, I was doing my piece. When in my family, I'm doing my piece, right? I'm not the mother of my children, I'm the father. I'm doing my piece. So this is the thing, when we're doing our piece and we're loving our piece, all of a sudden life gets good. And I have to tell you something. If you come here and do plant medicine and don't fucking walk away happier, you're nuts. You're nuts. If you walk away sadder, you're crazy. It shouldn't happen. And statistically, it really doesn't happen. But if you've done plant medicine somewhere and you're not as happy as you were, you did it in the wrong environment. People talk about set and setting. That's kind of like saying, well, the stage or the altar in a Catholic church is all you need. Set and setting is nothing. You know, set and setting is 1/100th of it. The other 99 of it is understanding, preparation, a true understanding, real preparation, then post-ceremony, and then putting it together and framing it for your life. These are the things that are important. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't look around you and say, holy God, I have 2 feet and a heartbeat. There's an electrical current running through me, and I am alive today. And whatever it brings me, I'm going to deal with, and I'm going to enjoy, because I will never, ever, ever get this day back. And I hope for this moment you get a part of you that says, yeah, you know, I'm living in wherever I'm living, and I'm alive, and I can see out the window, and the sun's coming up, and today's going to be a marvelous day, and I'm here to participate in it, and I love me at this moment as I am. Then you're going to have a wonderful day. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. No matter what the day looks like, right? Because what the medicine does, and this is the thing, okay? I said this the other week and I had questions over it. When we're together and we're vibrating differently, the medicine takes a long time to work in our external life. Follow me. So in the first year or two of vibrating differently, we're sending out these vibrations, right? So what happens is we change our response to things. And as we change our response to things, then the vibration that we're putting out starts to affect the outside world. Things actually do start to change, but it takes time. And what I mean by that is this: the circumstances of us changes because of this vibration and how we're responding to the things that are happening in our life. Things do change. Do they get better? My God, do they get better? I have to tell you something. Before I did this medicine, I was on death's door. On death's door. I was a drunk, an alcoholic, a sex addict, a lunatic. Now I'm a lunatic, but for a different thing. And my life was terrible. I was constantly depressed. Constantly. And I am one happy guy. What do I mean? Does that mean that I walk around in ecstasy? No. What it means is I have a real sense of contentment, a real sense of purpose, and I'm really alive and aware of myself, right? That I'm alive and I'm here on earth and what I'm doing. Because the tendency for some people is they get a glimpse of the astrals and they decide it's easier there. And it is, but it's not your purpose. Your purpose is not to live here and want to be or spend all of your time in the astrals. If you're a monk and you're praying for something collectively, that is your purpose. If you're not, if you're a mom or a dad or a this or a that or a banker or a nurse, your job is here. To bring what you've seen to this earth. And what do you see out there? Unity. That's it. That's all you do. That's it. So that's my talk for today. I think by this time next week, I'm going to have people staying here, which I'm super excited about. And one thing about that, our COVID procedures here are tighter than, at this resort, are tighter than I believe any resort in the world right now. So you can come here after there's a little bit of work on your part that goes into it. But when you come here, we test our employees 3 times a day. You're going to be in a very, very super safe environment, and we want you to come. So please, you can make a phone call today and book for January, February, March. There's still seats open, not many, but start doing it now. Get ahead of it, because I have to tell you what, after an event like this, there's the sin businesses and the spiritual businesses are the 2 businesses that flourish. I want to explain that. So after the Spanish flu and people were free, what happened? The sin businesses and the spiritual businesses are what flourish, because people are looking for either escape or answers. Please, please, please come get your answers. No more escape. I love you. I need you guys. I can't wait to see you. We're building an army of love. Everybody who's been to Rythmia has joined an army of love. You're one of a team of lovers of life, of lovers of the universe, of lovers of ourselves, lovers of each other, true lovers. I'm the luckiest guy in the world, and I thank you for giving me this job of Rythmia. God bless you guys. I can't wait to see you here at Rythmia, and I'll talk to you next week.